Hello, I am Bentham and today we're playing Factorio. So, in the last episode, we sorted out a bit of an iron shortage and we found that the aliens are very angry about our presence. So the focus of today is going to be setting up some defences. I'm going to be putting a lot of walls up and putting a lot of guns out and ferrying ammo back and forth to supply them. So I start off with a wall to the west because that's where we've had the most recent attacks. They've been coming just from the north and the west so far. And I want to cover the area better by putting a wall across the entire thing rather than just a little wall around the coal mine, because they might get past and go to the steam engines or something, and we don't want that because that's our power supply. So I space some guns around a bit, and then some research gets done, so I decide to upgrade gun turret damage, seeing as we're setting up a load of gun turrets. And then everything runs out of coal at once, so I run around resupplying it for a minute and use up most of the coal we've mined, but the coal supply is enough to deal with that. It just wasn't going while I left everything. Well, once it was full, and now that it's emptied again, it'll get refilled quick enough so that we can keep resupplying. So I set a bit more wall, but the thing is, it's taking ages to build all the bricks, so I decided that I'm going to deconstruct this particular section of wall, seeing as it's not really necessary anymore once we've got up the outer wall. And maybe I'll put it back later if things start to get concerning, if anything ever breaks through one of the walls or anything. But my plan is to completely encase the outpost in walls and guns, so that, well, I know at least in advance that something's going to arrive, because it gets to the wall and has to deal with that for a bit. So we set up a little bit more copper production, because it's getting a little bit short as production continues to increase. The need for copper increases. And then I have a look around, and there's a base down in the south. I'm not sure if I'd spotted that before now. So we've now got well, there's currently two different bases that we're aware of, and there was one that we destroyed, as well as what appeared to be a colonization party or something, or just like a group of them that was probably going to set up a new base. Luckily we dealt with that before it became a problem. So I make a little bit of a modification to this particular copper mine, so that the actual drill is working 24/7 rather than half the time, because the furnaces can't deal with all of the ore. And then I run over and check production and things, see how everything's working, have another look at the map. There is a lot of pollution. It's getting really quite thick around where I'm standing. I don't know whether your character wears a breathing mask or something, but if he doesn't, he's going to be coughing a lot with all this. So I get enough stone to set up another wall, and so I put it along on this area. In hindsight, I probably should have put it further up, and it wouldn't have been any more trouble than it was. In this particular position, there's probably never going to be anything attacking it, because they might as well attack the better defended wall to the left. So that's really just there to make sure there isn't just some big open plain where the aliens can just wander in and cause a problem. So I run around trying to make sure that everything has enough ammo, but the ammo production isn't great at the moment. What I work on next is advanced material processing, which will allow me to make the steel furnace, and they work twice as fast as stone furnaces. And it'll be good to hook one up producing steel next to the ammo factory, so that it can make it at double speed. So I decided to run around down and scout this particular base, and I noticed it does have some worms defending it, so we're not going to be able to destroy it anytime soon. But I also noticed there's a very large forest just to the right, and hopefully we might be able to move some of our production to there, where the pollution won't be a problem. We could even try and put our steam engines in there in future, so that the pollution is absorbed by the trees. And hopefully that will reduce the anger and the wrath of the native aliens. And then we can live in peace and harmony, except when I need some alien bits and I run in and kill them all. So I have a run around setting up more walls, and I believe at this point there's only one wall remaining down in the southwest to do, and then we will be fully hemmed in and hopefully safe from alien attacks and so on. So I have a look at our production line, and I noticed the gear production is a little bit low, but it shouldn't be a problem right now. We have another attack over in the west, so I do a bit more refilling of ammo over there. Then I noticed we've got a bit of a power shortage, so I set up a new boiler and get that hooked up to the system with an inserter. I noticed we are still having some problems, so that'll have to be dealt with at some point. But we've just got the new furnaces, so I started setting those up, and now I can put one down and take away 2 stone furnaces and so on. And it'll help improve our production. I think it might use less coal, or it might just be a more compact usage. At the very least, the inserters should be. Well, no, the inserters will be working. There's some bonus. I don't know what it is. I'm sure you can check if you go on the wiki or whatever. Well, I've set one up for the steel production. Now we should be getting ammo twice as fast, which will be good because the guns will need it, and so will I. I keep using up all the ammo that I have on me to fill up all the guns, which isn't good because I need to be able to defend myself. So I'm keeping an eye on the production and making sure that everything is going smoothly, and there's a little bit of redundancy but not too much. I mean, there is with the base in the south. It's producing more iron ore than is being consumed by the furnaces, I think, or it might be pretty much equal now. It's difficult to tell because I'd have to go to the other end and see what it's like there and check it at different times to see if it changes. We decided to set up another steel production so that it's not all going into producing ammo, because I do need steel for some things, like a steel pickaxe once it runs out, which it's not far off doing. So I run down and grab a bit of wood because I need it just generally, and I decide to set up the final wall in the southwest. So far we've had no problems at all in this particular area, but we have spotted a base down there, so we should be careful. And I start putting the guns up, and then I believe while I'm doing that there was an attack up at the top, and I decided to run over and check how that is. I'm probably checking a bit too much just how things are going. Actually, I just seem to be going back to the base. I don't know what I did. I stick a little chest in the middle of those conveyor belts there, so I can just dump bits of my inventory that I'm not using anymore. At the moment I've still got plenty of inventory space, but the further you get into the game, the more stuff you want to have in your inventory at any time, and it can get quite cluttered. So we have an attack over in the west this time, and I decide to reinforce that area a little more. I build a gun and stick it in there and put some more ammo in it, and hopefully that will stop the aliens damaging the wall, or at least make them damage the wall less. Hopefully one day I'll be... Oh, dropping the microphone. I can only do this in one take. I don't have time today. So I've only ever done one take. I've not bothered to retake anything because I'm lazy. Oh no, there was one in the KSP video. Phone rang in the middle of it, and I had to cut what I was doing and then cut back in, and hopefully nobody noticed. You may have noticed. You'll probably notice now if you watch back, which would be fine because it'll give me views. So I'll have a look at this base up here, and it's quite the crazy one. There's like 9 spawners there and a ton of small biters going around, but there's not a single worm and not a single larger biter. And so it's possible that we could deal with it, but it's a bit hard to say just exactly what will happen. So I run around and have a look at production again, and in the meantime we have an attack in the south this time. I believe that's the first time they've attacked in the south. So I run down here and start properly supplying things. So before now it's just been a precautionary defensive line, and now it turns out it's necessary. And so I decide to finally finish it off, and so just as soon as that's done, okay, we are now fully hemmed in, apart from that little opening that I did up at the top, which is a bit of a sloppy opening, to be honest. I was trying to like follow a design that other people had done, but I just kind of messed it up, so it just looks weird. But it helps a bit. The aliens have to take a bit more of a circuitous route to get into the base than just going straight through. They will probably do that rather than attacking the wall, and it'll let me get in and out and so on. I'll stand on the end of the production line and grab some circuits, because we recently got an upgrade to... Well, we got solar panels, so I'm starting to put those in. At the moment there's not that much use in them, because at night they're off, of course, so even if it means that everything runs fine in the daytime, at night we will still have power shortages if we do. And so I'll probably still be adding steam engines, but what I'm hopefully going to get is some accumulators, so that the solar panels can store up their excess power during the day, and then overnight the accumulators can power the systems. And then I can hopefully actually phase out the steam engines a bit, because they are a bit of a problem. They produce huge amounts of pollution relative to everything else. But I have a look at the different research things, and I work out that unfortunately to get accumulators we first need batteries, and for batteries we need sulfur, and for sulfur we need oil processing. So I get to work on oil processing, and in the meantime I run around refueling all of the furnaces and everything. But hopefully soon enough we'll be able to get electric furnaces, and then I won't have to keep running around everywhere. What I really should have done was hook up some coal to the to those production lines, so that the inserters could insert the coal to refuel the furnaces, as well as the ore that they are smelting. But it was just a bit awkward because of the positioning of the coal, even though there's a huge coal seam right there, and in other places as well. I just couldn't be bothered, because eventually we would be going into electric power anyway, and I didn't really see that much point. It's just something I'll have to deal with while it lasts, and it won't last very long, just running around and putting the coal in it. It gives me a good idea of how long the coal actually lasts. So we run and grab some more circuits, because I want to add a bit more in the way of solar panels. I'm just basically, for completionism, I'm doing a square. At this point there's not that much use to it. I just sort of wanted to put some solar panels out, and it means that at least during the daytime power levels should be fine. Now there's more bases than there were before now. We've now got 4 on the map. There's one over in the east, which shouldn't be a problem because it's on the other side of the huge lake that we're next to. But there is one in the south that looks like it'll need dealing with. But from the look of it, it didn't have any worms in it, so it might be an alright one to invade. It looks like it looked like it had 2 bases, and so we could just run in and destroy it all. We've managed to destroy 1 base on our own before. So if we're careful, we should hopefully be able to deal with the other one. The big problem will be dealing with the ones that have worms defending them, because that's a lot more difficult to do. One way to do it is to ram cars into them. If you ram a car into the worm and then jump out, you can shoot everything else and you'll probably be alright. But it's a bit of a problem. I really don't like the worms. If they weren't there, it would make things a lot easier. But of course there would be less challenge then. So we're setting up the coal production, not the coal production, the oil production. Yeah, same thing, fossil fuels. And I've got the refinery going, and then I'm working out where to position the pipes, because I want to separate things out a bit. Having them right next to each other is a bit of a problem. But I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it. I mean, there's ways, but I want to make it look neat and good. So I end up coming up with that design and then piping it over there, so it gets a bit more separated out and still. And it just looks nice. So then I run over and resupply myself with everything as usual. Grab some more circuits. We're having attacks up at the top again. And it's just, normal stuff of running around maintaining the base. And, I start to wonder, what am I going to do? Because, I haven't got that much to do right now. Everything's just kind of working. And so I decide that I'm going to run over and attack this base. So I get some ammo ready, and then I charge in, take out the first wave, and I'm alright. Maybe I can get one of the bases, and I died. Yeah. So that was a good idea, just charging at 9 biter spawners. I think it was because in other games I've done better. But anyway, that's today's episode. So on next episode we will pretend that never happened, and until then I shall say goodbye, and I will see you next time.